my top 8 ways to prepare for grad school? Stick around, let's talk about it in this episode of Navigating Academia. What's up, Navigating Academia? This is your buddy and personal academic mentor, Dr. Phoenix Singh, coming at you to give you my 8 favorite ways to prepare for grad school. Now, there's so many ways to be able to get into grad school, obviously, but if you want step-by-step guidance in terms of how to be able to prepare your personal statement, your CV, your diversity statement, how to be able to get interview prep, and of course, if you're just starting out, how to be able to select your target supervisor and program, all of my custom courses are available through a 1-month cheap fee down here at publicationacademy.com. So be sure to be able to sign up for that. So let's get right into it, all right? So let's discuss 8 ways to prepare for grad school. Whether you're just starting to consider pursuing a grad degree or whether you're already ready to enroll, it's important to be well prepared for the journey ahead, as you can imagine. So in this video, I want to give you some practical tips and advice to be able to help you get ready for the rigors of grad school. You guys hear me on the channel always talk about how grad school is fundamentally different than undergrad. And it really is, to be honest with you. And so because of that, it's one of these things where knowing what you're getting yourselves into, going in with eyes wide open is super key, all right? So first thing I want to talk about is it's really important to research the field and the program that you're interested in before you kind of take the plunge, all right? So before enrolling in a grad program, even if you've gotten in already, it's important to do your research and understand the requirements, the coursework, so particularly if it's a structured curriculum, and the expectations of the program you're considering. If you're going to do a behavioral health degree like an MSW or a PsyD and so forth, then usually what you can do is get in touch with the program and ask them for what is called the grad program handbook. There should be one specifically for your program. Sometimes these things can be mega long. I'm talking like 100+ pages. Sometimes they can be really short or even just be online in a series of web pages. But these things are going to give you a step-by-step walkthrough of your graduate program. Get familiar with that thing. It is really key. Okay? Now, when you're getting familiar with all of this stuff, always think about also the faculty members and opportunities available to students. Different programs are going to provide different things. Some of them have university level conferences. Others put on an annual forum. Other ones give you access to unique practicum sites. There's so many options here. Now, the ways to be able to also do this in addition to the handbook, so you can talk to current students, you can talk to alumni, or other professionals in the field who are familiar with the program, but maybe they didn't even go there. And this could be just to understand what to expect from grad school in general. Understanding the specifics of your program, though, is really going to help you make an informed decision and determine if the program is right for you or not. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is to be able to take care of any prerequisites or admission requirements if you're in the process of applying or if you're thinking about applying in the future. My recommendation is that if you can kind of Google around and get a sense of what personal statement, diversity statement, supplemental, whatever prompts you're going to need to answer, they may not be the same year over year, but oftentimes they are in my experience. Also, if you set up your CV properly, you're going to know exactly what you need to be able to get into graduate school. Again, just take the course that I developed for you guys. It's a couple of hours, and it gives you the template that I've developed over the last half decade for exactly the CV that you need to be able to get into grad school. This is really going to be very important because even if you start doing this, freshman, sophomore year of college, you're going to know the different things that you need to essentially fill in there, and this is going to help you get ahead of your competition because getting into grad school these days is harder than ever, all right? So just remember, different grad programs are going to have different admissions requirements. Sometimes you're going to even have a minimum GPA, minimum standardized test scores like the GRE, the GMAT, the LSAT, the MCAT, and so forth, or prerequisite coursework. Particularly, again, I'm a behavioral health guy. Particularly in behavioral health, oftentimes there are specific courses you need to have completed before you're actually applying, particularly for PsyD programs. So if that's the type of program you want to go into, take a look at your target programs, find out whether or not they have specific requirements. Make sure that you understand those requirements before you're applying to the program, and obviously take care of any of them, all right, beforehand. Give yourself enough time too, especially if you need to study for standardized tests. I'm terrible at standardized tests. I want you to go into that thing like you're freaking in basic training. If you're in a boot camp for the military, you should take it really seriously, all right? It's number 2. Number 3, get your finances in order. I talk about this all the time on the channel. Grad school can be expensive, particularly if you're in North America. My first doctorate was from Oxford, so it was in the UK. My second doctorate was from Germany. Let me tell you right now, that German doctorate, it's like a few $1,000s in terms of tuition. My UK doctorate from Oxford, wow. expensive. There are programs in the US, obviously, that offer, scholarships, fellowships, TA-ships, GA-ships, but let me tell you, still, they can be extremely expensive, particularly these PsyD programs that I mentioned. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's important to be able to really get your finances in order and to start planning early, even if you're still an undergrad. So consider those scholarships and fellowships. Consider, God, if you have to consider loans, do it. But I mean, please just be careful, all right? Take a look at what grants are out there and make sure you have a budget in place to be able to cover tuition and other expenses. It's important, all right? So research those different financial aid options that universities may have. Find out what you're eligible for. Do this pretty early on. It's important to factor in not just tuition and all, but your living expenses, like housing, transportation, all these things into your budget, personal care items. People rarely do that. They just think about the tuition of the program. And keep in mind that usually you're going to be studying full time. You're not going to have also a full-time job. If you have a part-time job on the side, this is going to offset stuff. But if you want to be able to really throw yourself into that master's or doctoral program, and especially if you want to get into any kind of a career afterwards that requires a lot of practical experience or peer-reviewed publications or grants and so forth, those things take forever. And so because of that, it's really important you take the time not to be working, to be able to offset. If you have to do that, just take like an additional year to be able to make sure you have sufficient amount of time to be able to devote to developing those core skill sets. This is the reason why we developed Publication Academy, is really because we want to be able to equip you with those skill sets as fast as possible, like grant writing, publishing, conference presentations, all that stuff, all right? So that's number 3. Number 4 is networking with professionals in your field. Connecting with professionals in your field can provide you with invaluable insight into the job market. It can help you get advice. You can build relationships, obviously. You can find mentors. Any industry events like conferences and such is really the name of the game here. Even if you're just reaching out to professionals on a social media, account, like, taking a look at academic Twitter, taking a look at LinkedIn, taking a look at Reddit and starting to actively participate in forums like, again, on Reddit, so different subreddits, and the same thing on stuff like Medium and Quora, all that kind of stuff. Building that professional network, it's definitely going to support you during grad school, but also obviously in your future career, okay? That's number 4. Number 5 is developing strong study habits and time management skills. Listen, grad school is going to be really challenging, so it's important to have strong study habits and time management skills to just help you stay on track, all right? Start by creating a schedule that includes taking time to study, doing your homework, taking breaks. Just make sure that you prioritize your coursework, though, particularly during undergrad. During grad school, we have videos on the channel where I talk about the lack of an importance of a GPA in grad school, and so make sure you watch those videos as well. I also talk on the channel about this idea of, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Set achievable goals for yourself and set milestones that are temporal in nature, right? So like for this week, for this month, for this quarter, for this year, so on and so forth, so you can hit those things and not take on too much, all right? Next, get involved in extracurricular activities. So participating in extracurricular activities, like I was, president of the Psychological Society, I was a member of Psy-Chi, I did a lot of volunteering, I was a member of an entrepreneurial society. These things really help to be able to build your skills and obviously meet new people, explore your interests, make sure this is what you want to do. And obviously consider, like I just mentioned, joining a club or an organization that's related to your field, and also volunteering in the community can give you a lot of practical experience, can also help you with your grad school application materials. So you can build up that CV and also make connections that can benefit you down the line, okay? Next, seek out resources and support. Grad school, like I said, it can be overwhelming, so you really need to know what is going to be available to you by way of academic advising. In some cases, you choose a supervisor going in. In other cases, after the first year, 2 years, one either gets assigned to you or you get to choose at that time. Now, maybe you're somebody like me, like I ended up becoming, ironically, an epidemiological stats professor, but before that, I was just terrible at stats, I'm telling you right now, and I needed stats tutoring. So what, is available to you by way of tutoring and so forth? What are the different adaptations you need? So for example, I do a lot of consultation. So if you want to get into grad school, in addition to becoming a Publication Academy member, you can always contact me at gradschoolapplicationcoach.com, and we can talk directly about how it is that I can help you one-on-one. get into your target grad school, or even pick your target grad school, all right? And really come up with a custom plan for you. And one of the things I'm really big on, as you know, is to be able to do some pre-semester planning, particularly before your first year, to be able to make sure we max out your protective factors and also know kind of what to expect and how to be able to access resources as you need them. Let's say you have ADHD, or you have genuinely anything, executive functioning deficits, anything where you need additional time on tests, or you need any kind of adaptations, maybe you're hard of hearing and so forth. It's important that we kind of, really get ahead of that ball and know who the right person is at the university in your program to be able to talk to be able to get those things set up right ahead of time. Next is to be able to plan ahead for your future. So start thinking about your future career goals and how that grad degree that you're interested in or that you're entering is going to help you achieve them. I'm a big believer in essentially this concept of knowing where you're going and then step-by-step working towards it. Ironically, this is also going to give you a huge dopaminergic and serotonergic burst every time that you end up moving in that direction. So I just highly recommend, taking a look and really knowing what you're getting yourself into here and knowing where you're going to be going, because grad school is insanely stressful. So it's really important that you're, mentally prepared for this. And obviously, take a look. We were talking about, getting access to different resources, knowing what's available in the grad program. Mental health care and counseling is a really core part of that, all right? So I just want you to take that into consideration and never feel ashamed or worried that you need to go and seek out that kind of assistance, all right? So these are just a few of the ways that you can prepare for grad school. If you follow these tips and you're proactive, you're gonna be well prepared for the challenges ahead. Like I keep mentioning, it's harder than ever to get into these programs these days. So I know that I keep harping on it, but please, I really believe in what we've developed. Please do take a look at publicationacademy.com. But that's what I've got for you guys today. You know that I love you. Like this video, so smash that like button. In addition to that, please do me a favor and share this video, a link to it on your social media accounts if you enjoyed them, particularly something like LinkedIn or Instagram. If you maybe want to take a screenshot of the video and kind of share it on there, God bless you, would help us out a ton on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more in this series on navigating academia, please click on one of these links over here to be able to view more original content. I hope to see you there.